Look, I came in drunk last night. I was very drunk, like a lot of lads, probably. I came in, I thought, first thing on my mind, séance. So, I haven't got a Ouija board problem, haven't got a Ouija board. I've got a big circular kitchen table. So to solve the problem, around the edge, I emptied a tin of alphabetti spaghetti. Got the glass. 10 minutes later, a message starts coming through. Oh. I thought it's like a really traditional ghost, but it turns out I'd accidentally used spaghetti hoops.
Louis Schaffer doesn't recommend that you take drugs. But I take a drug that makes me feel like a kid again. Calpol.
When I was a kid, ecstasy was the big thing. Oh, yeah, when I was a kid, Manchester's full of people wandering around going, hey, I remember when all this were clubs.
Now, I like to eat out, but I can't deal with the pepper people. You know, the people who come up to you and go, you like pepper? You want a bit of it? Go on, have a little bit. Nice. You like it? I'm like, why can't they just leave it on the table? Like, what exactly are they worried about? That they're gonna go and you're gonna go on some kind of massive pepper binge.
Sharing is always a bad idea. Let's say you manage to lure a young lady back to your room or flat or bus shelter or whatever. She might ask if she can borrow a t-shirt to sleep in. Might be a cold night, perhaps she has some communal area of the house to pass through. Maybe she's just a bit frigid, whatever. Drugs are wearing off. Doesn't matter, you lend her a t-shirt, that's fine. You wake up in the morning, she's up already, she's making breakfast, which is nice. And she's borrowed one of your shirts. The sleeves hang rather adorably too long over her arms, the tails of the shirt come down to her knees. She looks sweet and lovely as she stands there, frying bacon in your shirt. The French cuffs hovering amusingly close to the spitting fat in the pan. She hasn't asked if she can borrow it, but that's all right, I don't mind. That's fine. Really. Even if it's a clean one. And yet, they catch you wearing one panty girdle, all hell breaks loose.
And the salt's fine, isn't it? They can leave the salt on the table, that's okay. Except there's a rule with the salt. And that's if you spill the salt, you have to throw it over your shoulder, don't you? Into the devil's eye. Because the devil's meant to be there going, this is brilliant. As if the Prince of Darkness has some kind of interest in unseasoned food. I'm going to enjoy this. It's going to be so bland. My God, I'm still as evil. You fucking eye!
I stopped drinking, right, because I knew that I was doing stuff that I wouldn't have done if I was sober. You know when you realise that? Like, I knew if I was sober, for example, I wouldn't have ended up in a phone box at 4 o'clock in the morning, phoning up my ex-boyfriend drunk, crying, reciting Celine Dion lyrics. Not just any old cry, no, that special cry. That female cry, no sound, just... And then when the sound comes, you really wish it hadn't. You're like... Did you ever love me? At this point, only dogs can hear you. I just wanted to hear your voice. I've got sick in my head. I don't know who it belongs to.
I admit to going out to clubs to pot. I went there recently with a friend. I kid you not, he was going up to girls going, you think that's my leg in there? Implying it was his penis. I know, very funny man. This, however, got me thinking about what it might actually be like to have a penis for a leg. Because a leg is a load-bearing appendage. So therefore, if you had a penis for a leg, it'd need to be constantly erect to support the weight of your body. And if you were walking around on it quite happily, and you stepped in a particularly cold puddle, it'd suddenly go flaccid, and you'd just be dragging this thing round with you, going up to attractive girls going, show me your tits, I can't walk.
I must admit, I've never been one for going out a lot. I mean, a lot of my male friends, they like to go out in big groups, and I just don't fit into those, you know. The last time I went out with them, it was a big stag do. It was so embarrassing. You know, they're all there at the bar going, 23 pints of lager, mate. What are you having, Hal? I'm like, white wine spritzer, please, lads. Shit. You know, they started singing at another group of lads. You know, standing there going, you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in. You know, I try and join in. You're gonna get your... Sorry, we do harmonies. You're
See, when I was younger as well, you'd go to a party and you'd just drink anything that was there, wouldn't you? You'd drink all the booze, and all the booze had gone, and then you'd get on the homemade sherry, then all the homemade sherry's gone, you'd just drink bleach, wouldn't you? Now, drinking bleach isn't as stupid as it sounds, because you can neck a load of bleach, throw up in the toilet, and it's lovely and clean.
By all means, go out and enjoy yourself, but remember, no one looks big or clever dry heaving into the gutter, do they?
You know you're drinking a lot when the Cocoa Pops are turning the Malibu brown.
I read this doctor's report recently that if a couple are trying to have kids, the man is advised to cut down on his drinking because apparently it fucks up all the sperm. You just got all these drunken sperm staggering about. And... Excuse me. Do you know the way to the fallopian tubes, by any chance? My friends and I... I fucking love you, by the way, man. I really fucking love you. We're trying to find the phenolian shoes. No, phenolian tunes. Phenolian... Trailing behind, of course, that lone sperm wearing a traffic cone on its head. Hey!
I like the kind of night where you wake up the next day and you can't remember where you've been or what you've been doing, except you know you've had a good time because you wake up with mystery bruises, you know, the kind of unidentified party injury. I tend to get them in roughly the same places. I get them on my shins quite a lot, and I also get those ones along there, you know, when you've been leaning over the toilet that little bit too long. You know, when you've been over the toilet for such a long time that you've actually worked out how many anagrams there are of armitage shanks.
I get the impulse to dance. Now, I'm not a good dancer. I'm never really sure whether girls are dancing with me or dancing at me. So this night they're playing this sort of sexy, sultry Latino music, and I'm really feeling it. And I start to dance, and this beautiful girl comes up to me. She said, "I've never seen anyone dance quite like that to Latino music before." And I said, "Really?" "Meow." And she said, "You know, they say you can tell what a man is like in bed by the way he moves to the music." And I said, "I'll take that as a compliment." And she said, "Don't."
Hey, you've got a big night out on the town, you're feeling nervous, you want some confidence, then you've come to the right place. Listen to I and don't copy a deafen, because I will give you confidence. It's all up here. That's right, in the mind. Billy ain't silly, look. When I started going out, I didn't have the confidence, right, but then get I on that dance floor, right, and then wake up, hello, smell the coffee. I'm the king of the dance floor, I'm the king of the dance, I'm the lord of the crowd. They call me Maximus Dancicus, because I'm doing this. Oh, and then I go to this. Watch it, look, watch close. I don't mind if you copy it. Maximus Dancicus. I'm a gladiator. 3 weeks of doing that, I was no longer Maximus Dancicus. Oh no, who was I? Who was I? Thanks for asking, I was Spartacus. Spartacus. Why was I Spartacus? Because they want to be me. They want to be me on that dance floor. I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. No, I am Spartacus. People want to be me.
I love British women. Took me a long time to realize how to please British women sexually. I leave them alone.
Now, drugs might seem like a good idea at the time, but they can come back to haunt you in the most embarrassing of ways. Many years after I stopped taking it, I had an aspirin flashback whilst being examined by a doctor. All of a sudden I was completely pain-free and I couldn't tell him where it hurt. I had to apologise, go home and make another appointment.
You know a relationship is over when you ring up and your boyfriend or your girlfriend hang up on you. That's a big clue. You know a relationship is definitely over when you ring up and your boyfriend or your girlfriend's mother hangs up on you on the extension. And it is 100% over when you ring up and you hear the other person has cleared. The other person has cleared. Please replace the handset. Please replace the handset and get a life. The boyfriend you require is unattainable. Please replace your makeup and try again.
You're mentally undressing me with your eyes, aren't you? But don't you worry, lovies. I'm doing it right back to you. And what I see, I like.
I don't know whether you've been clubbing recently. I have, and I've heard conversations that girls have. They have conversations in the toilets. They sit in the toilet. They even pass out on the toilet floor. Now, guys flinch at this because, as a guy, you forget that girls don't piss all over theirs. Guys' toilets, if you're going to pass out, you're going to need a snorkel or an aqualung, a full bodysuit. Someone could make a fortune selling waders outside the men's toilet. I figure science has advanced to such a point where there must be some way of building metal urinals and making men's piss slightly magnetic. Because that way, no matter where you face, and I could be going, hey, all right, mate, yeah, how are you? All going in the urinal. Now, don't go out and say, hey, Mr. Scientist, I have a plan, because there is a flaw. You might end up using a urinal next to a small child with a metal plate in their head. Or a goth with a tongue piercing, but then they deserve it.
You could get killed in England a lot easier than you could in Canada. One thing I love about this country, though, the assholes make noise. You can sit outside, you can have a beer, then all of a sudden you hear like, oh, and plenty of time to move. Here come the assholes, you know? In the States, you don't hear an asshole. You don't hear an asshole in America until you hear, ooh, you must be an asshole.
I like the nightlife. It's the mornings after I can't stand. Oh, you know, when you roll over in bed and you've realised you've shagged Stig of the dump. I know. Oh, you got the throbbing headache, stiff neck, aversion to bright lights. You end up rubbing a tumbler up your arm because you've got meningitis. Yeah. It's the flashbacks too, oh. They come back thick and fast, don't they? Of you walking up to the man with a bucket of roses going, what a good idea, yeah. And although you're comatose for 13 hours, scientists say you aren't really resting because your liver's working overtime to expel all the toxins, which basically is you piss in the bed, isn't it?
Next time you pull and you're about to get down to business, just do this for a laugh. Maybe that's why pandas don't breed. They've genetically trashed their makeup.
Now, be careful with the drugs, people. Be careful with the drugs, okay? There are certain drugs you should never take alone. Viagra.
I was in a strip club the other night. I didn't really enjoy myself. I was off my tits.
Pornography's everywhere now, though, isn't it? You know, kids are still masturbating furiously in the bedroom. It's just over a computer instead of a magazine, you know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if your web pages are stuck together and you've got windscreen wipers on your monitor, it's time to stop. Yeah.
If you've been affected by any of the items on tonight's show, you really should get out more.